Right, here we are, straight back after the break. King 10, 6-6 in the small blind. We'll pass that. On the left-hand side, we've got a limper into our big blind, and we're holding a suited ace, ace, 8, jack. Could be an interesting pot. There's two thought processes now. We can play this slow out of position, flat call it, see how the hand develops, or we can just shove all in, which isn't something I'm particularly fond of doing here, but there's enough in the chips now. There's enough chips in the pot with that small blind committing his stack to warrant it. I don't like it particularly, but I think it's probably the best option here, especially with the size of the two stacks to my left-hand side. So hopefully the shove will work and we can isolate the pot. Give ourselves the option to pick up nearly 3,000 chips at a risk of just 1,265. Well, we didn't want that. Oh, that's just unreal. That's just unreal. Ah, oh, fuck a duck. Right, let's have a quick look back at that. So here's the exit hand. We'll play it back from the beginning. So we're in the big blind with suited aces. There's an early position call, big stack, and then a re-raise I think from Khan for 900. Folded round to the small blind who shoves for his 1,265. We'll just pause the hand after my shove while we concentrate on the top right, or the only remaining game until I load some more up. So in the small blind with ace 2, 6, 9, there's been an early raise from the big stack to 490, so 2.5 times effectively. Again, not a hand we want to get too involved with, but we do want to see a flop with. I'll just call this and see what. Again, we're not hitting many flops at the moment, and we haven't hit this one either. There's only one low card out there, so our low draw requires 2 more good cards to complete. We have nothing on the high hand other than ace 9 to go with the 10 and the queen and the 6 on the board. Oh, sorry, pair of 6s. Again, with 2 spades out there, up and downs, everything possible. It's a hand we'll now just be getting rid of. Hopefully we can see it, which we have. The free turn hasn't improved us in any way, hasn't given us any flat draws, so we're effectively now dead in this hand. Easy fold. Right, so going back to this hand, there were 2 ways to play it really. We could have called off the 1265 knowing that Khan couldn't re-raise. We could have seen a flop and seen how the hand developed. If we'd done that, of course, we'll see what happens in a moment. Flop's just about to come down now. So had we have seen a flop, we may have been able to get away from the hand, although we had the jack and the 8, which gave us a good shot with the 9 as well. Our opponent would have definitely been betting there with the queen 9, giving him an up and down with the 10 and the jack. If we look at the all-in stats, excluding the small stacks, is not really relevant. As you can see on that flop, I've gone from favourite to second favourite, although 40% to nearly 38%. There's not much in it at the moment. That is, of course, until we roll the turn card out, which was a king. Not only does this give my opponent the nut straight with the ace and queen, 10, jack and king on the board, it also gives them the nut flush draw, and of course null and voids our low draw. The only thing it does give us is a queen redraw for the split pot. So we have, with the opponent holding the queen of hearts, we have got 3 cards to hit for a split pot. But of course that doesn't come. The river rolls out 5 of diamonds, and our opponent's ace high straight or Broadway was more than sufficient to beat my pocket aces. Right, after a little bit of bad luck with the aces and a lot of terrible play earlier, we are down to just one of our 4 original tables. That's the $82 no limit high-low progressive super knockout. If we just have a look at the lobby, we're now starting to go short again. We have a chip stack of 6,700. The average is 9,600 at the moment. So we're a bit behind average and we've got some work to do. We have of course won one bounty for $17, but that's not really relevant to our starting outlay. So we need to get a little bit busier in this tournament, try and get ourselves back to average or thereabouts. There are 36 places paid, so let's see if we can get a bit busier there. On our top left, we have a new game. This is the iPoker €10 rebuy high-low. At least being a rebuy, it guarantees I'm going to be in here for an hour, so at least we're going to get some play in this tournament. And down at the bottom, I've loaded up a $22 no limit high-low on Party Poker, just to complement the remainder of our no limit games this evening. Ace 5, 6, 10, double suited. It was a bit of a fishy hand to be chasing on the flop, but I don't think. In fact, we've hit it that well. We're going to have one check here before we get to the turn. If this guy does better, which I'm sincerely hoping he does. Yeah, that's perfect. So ace 3, 5, 8, 5, 7, 8. Non-nut low draw. We'll just pass that now. It's gone cool with the ace 10. If somebody's got ace king jack, they've still got 9 outs to beat us. Our stack's not that huge. It's only 5 times their bets, so we'll go all in now. See if we can hopefully lose them both and pick up some free chips. And if not, see if we can avoid the overs. Well, there's the first call up. King and jack to avoid. Excellent. Actually won a hand. Right, so in the progressive game, we've picked up ace, ace, 4, 9, double suited on the button. We've got an under the gun limp, so we're going to have to naturally up. I think I'm going to make this a 4x4 in view of my slightly inadequate low kicker with the 4 diamonds. Right, bottom right, we've got ace, ace, 2. I think he might be foolish enough to call, so we're going to go all in here. This is what I hate about no limit, or like. We'll decide that in a second. Ah, would you believe it? Right, top right, flops come 3, 4, 10, 2 hearts. I'm going to have to re-rate pre. And that's the ideal result there. What I really didn't want him to do was come back over the top and leave me a question, or having to put so many chips in to call him off and hope to hold up. Almost an argument here for, in fact this is a rebuy. I completely forgot this was a rebuy. This is a rebuy, so I'm not too scared to get all of my stack in here now. So knowing that we've had an original raiser, I may get some further action from him. He may now 4-bet, hopefully 4-bet, and we can get all the chips in pre. He may however decide to call or even fold. So we're 3 to a flop. We've flopped the nut flush draw, which pocket aces may not be good now. Any ace 3 is going to be getting busy here, but you know, I'm at the stage where I committed those chips pre-flop on the basis that I was intending to get them in on the flop, and of course that's what we'll do, and we'll see what happens. Oh, there we go, magic, absolutely magic. The beauty of a rebuy, at least we're not out. Ace, ace, deuce, jack with a suited ace. Standard raiser either times 2 or times 3 will We'll go with time 3. The blinds are so small. Right, not the best flop. Our ace-2 low draw, and it's now looking slim because there were 2 high cards on the flop. There's 2 clubs giving a potential flush draw out there. There are some straight draws out there, although we do have a good shot ourselves with the ace-jack. At least one of these players will probably have 3 or 4 low cards in their hand, so I'm going to put in a continuation bet to my pre-flop raise, try and lose one of them and find out where we are. That's happened. The board's paired a 4, which is quite a good card for me because now, unless my opponent has pocket kings, pocket 10s, or a 4, then I'm looking good. The very fact that he's now bet out when the board is paired with a 4 means there's a reasonable chance he's hit it. What have I put in the pot? I've put 500 or 600 chips in. Oh, that's just such poor call, Pete. If I'm going to do that, then I should really put my opponent all in. Any Jack Queen has now just got there. Any Heart has now just got there. Any 4 was already beating me, so I should have folded then on the turn. And if I wasn't folding, I should put my opponent all in, so I didn't have this sort of stupid decision here. I'll back myself into a right corner. It's 1200 to call. I'm just going to fold it. 3, 4, 4, 5 in the progressive. Not a hand I want to be getting too busy with, but it can of course flop very well. So if we can get to see a cheap flop, that would be great, which we're going to do. So we've hit that flop fairly well. We haven't hit any part of it, but with a 6, 7 on the board and our 3, 4, and 5, we're now drawing to 3, 5, 8, 11 outs. So I think we're going to put a bet in here. Again, I spoke earlier about not betting out to the low draw, but it's because of the fact we've got a straight draw with our low draw that I've done so. Although again, I've already started to price this pot up bigger than it needed to be in doing so. That's a pretty good card. The only downside to that card, of course, is that our opponent's ace deuce. If they have a low draw has got there, he's gone all in, so I can only assume he's got ace 2. If he's got ace 2, 4, 5, then that would be very, very unfortunate. So of course we'll just call this off and see. Ooh, I did have a lot of that. Turn cards improved us quite significantly. As we said, could already be a straight out there, but we now have the up and down straight draw at the very bottom end of the spectrum here, with our 4, 6 and the 7, 5. In fact, it's a wrap because we have the 3 as well. We also have the second nut low draw, but there's no reason at all to be betting. That's the kind of river card that we wanted. It's now made us a low. It's actually made us the lowest possible. Sorry, it's now made us a straight and a low. It's made us the lowest possible straight, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One guy's now just bet into us, so we're just going to flat call that. We've got the second nut low and about, oh, I don't know how many nut, about the 5th nut straight or something, 10th nut straight. So we'll call and hope that we're getting at least half of that pot. Of course, this is the danger of calling a bet when there are others to act behind you. The likelihood of him having ace 2 and a better straight isn't that great, so as the original raiser is now folded, I think we have sufficient reason to call this off and hope for at least half the pot. And that's exactly what we've got, as we've got identical hands. 4, 4, 5, 5 double paired on the button. Not a hand I want to get overly excited about, but I am going to try and see a flop. So it's not the worst flop in the world. Flops come ace 3 jack. So we now have the 3rd nut low draw. We also have a gut shot straight, which is the same as the low draw, and a 5 high flush draw, and of course a straight flush draw. So with both opponents checking, we'll put in. No, we'll check behind. That's a good turn card. That's given us the third nut low, an up and down straight flush draw, and of course a made flush. I don't want to be too quick to bet here, so I may even just flat call here behind and see if he bets out the river. Part of it depends on whether this guy calls or folds. Yeah, I think we'll just take a flat call behind him and see if we can get him to pay some more on the river. Yeah, we might be splitting the pot, but judging by the fact that he's now just checked it, gives me reason to suggest that maybe I'm good on both ends here. So we'll put in a big enough bet and hope he thinks he might be winning one part of the pot and calls. Right, top left, I think we've just made a straight there. Let me just double check. Ace, King, Queen, Jack 10. Yes, that's a straight. So I'm sure he's got the same hand, but just in case he hasn't, we'll put a bet in to see. Ace 2, King 8, early to mid position, 2 limpers, under the gun and under the gun +1, so we'll have a flat call behind there. You see, this is the beauty of high-low, isn't it? This is why we play this game. As you can see on that hand, my opponent bet the river there. Right, hang on, we'll come back to that hand. Let's just concentrate on this one. Ace, Ace, 5, 9, single suited. Put in a raise here, try and get the button to fold, which it has done. Small blinds playing out of position. Okay, back here we've got Ace 8, top 2, 2 kicker, plus the nut flush draw, so we're just going to get busy here. That's not the best flop. So we'll finish the all-in down here. Nut flush draw, top 2. Of course, that 3 is a disaster for us. Any 3 now we're behind unless we hit the flush. Ah, that worked, that worked. So 2, 3, Queen, 7 will fold. We'll check behind here with the 9, Ace, Ace, 5. Yeah, we were hoping to take it. Didn't have a great low draw. The flop was terrible. The turn, as well as making further straights, has put a flush draw out there, so we're just going to fold those out.